Um, yeah, I mean, I think so far, just with our preseason practices, we've had an exhibition and a scrimmage. I'm really, really pleased with where our team is. I think a number one priority for us was more of a team leadership piece, and I think our senior class, but also our returners as a whole, have done an incredible job of leading and putting our team in a good position to start off the season. And that's kind of transitioned right into practices. Our practices have been super competitive. They've been very energetic. We're trying to play at a much faster pace, and so we're getting after it at practice. And I think all in all, that's easy to do the first couple of days, but then you start to get a little tired and you're going 6-7 days in a row, whatever it is, and all of a sudden now you're like, okay, can we keep up this pace? And I think, again, our returners especially have made sure that we've had really, really quality practices, from the start.
Like you said, you return a lot of significant pieces from last year's squad. And then you have some, a lot of incomers as well, a lot of freshmen to the team this year. The leaders just kind of spoke about bringing the freshmen along. How do you feel that leadership has been taken over to the freshmen so far?
I think it's been great. I think, like you said, it's we kind of have almost an equal divide. We've got a good chunk of upperclassmen, but then we have a very large freshman and newcomer class with 7 freshmen and 1 transfer. So 8 new faces. As some of the returners talked about, some of the seniors, they did a great job of making sure they made connections off the court before everybody got here. And then I think as that has flowed into practices, they've just done a really good job of bringing them along, helping to coach them along, continuing to encourage them if, there's days where they struggle or things that they're struggling with.
Coach, you lose a key piece in Olivia Harris last year. Is there anybody through this preseason that you think could take a big jump in production?
I think the great thing with our team is we have a lot of weapons in a lot of different areas, and I think we're going to be much better balanced with that, and I really think you're going to see a different leading scorer many, many nights for us. I think we're going to be really tough to scout from that standpoint. I mean, you look at last year, and obviously you've got Bree, who is coming back from an injury but has been pretty much a double-digit scorer her entire career here. I don't think that changes, but now she's got a little bit more help with a Kate Littlejohn continuing to progress from her, last year's stats and now being in year 2 with our team, and Audra Petty, who had a really good freshman year, and now she's a sophomore, but has also developed her game a lot more and isn't just, standing outside the three-point line, taking jumpers. But then, you've got Ashley Vandergrift and Kayla Terry and Brooke Kaysen, who have always been great three-point shooters, but they've all really developed their game as well. So I think we're going to be able to score in a lot of different ways.
Coach, with you and your players, you've talked about working harder in practice. Where do you believe that this newfound, rejuvenated energy has come from?
I honestly think a lot of it was the disappointment from last year. I mean, I think whether it was the players or coaches or whatever it was, that was not the standard that we feel like we have set and that we expect. And I think for especially our returning players, there was a little sense of, we know we're better than that, but some things need to change in order for us to get the results that we want. And even when you look at it on paper from last year, I mean, there were so many games. It was a 2-point game, a 3-point game. We were probably a total of 8 points of being 5 or 6 wins different. But I think the good thing is we didn't win those games, and that gave them a little bit more of the edge. I think if we had won those games, then, okay, we're a 15-win team and we're in the tournament. But I think because we fell short, there's a little bit more of an edge. And it started in the spring with our returners and their spring workouts. And so I think that's just, they've realized, like, we've got to get after each other a little bit more. We've got to hold each other a little bit more accountable to be able to get the results that we expect in this league, which is really, really tough.
You mentioned the expectations. With that being said, what are your goals and expectations for this year's group?
I think, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that we should be part of the last 4 standing in the Salem Civic Center. And I feel like, especially these seniors, they've gotten a taste of Salem, but that's what it's all about in this league. It used to be 8 teams made the tournament or made it to Salem, and now it's only the top 4. But to me, that doesn't change. All you've got to do is get there And when you're there, absolutely anything can happen. So for me, I think anything short of us being in the last four standing is a disappointment.
Coach, you added 2 new faces to the coaching staff this year. Can you kind of talk to both of who they are and what they bring to your coaching staff?
Yeah, I think it's been really awesome for us, I think, to get some new blood that also played at a really high level. I am a Division III person through and through. I love everything about Division III basketball. But I also think, especially from a coaching staff standpoint, having some people that really played at a high level. Coach Felicia played in the ACC at UVA, and Coach Bray has played Division I and Division II basketball. And I think just their basketball background and their experience has been really beneficial to our players, to me as well, but to our players especially. And just the expectations are a little different. And I think the wanting to get these kids in the gym and do extra workouts and work on things has been a huge benefit to our team.
Coach, you mentioned the new coaching staff that you brought in, and with a big freshman class and a transfer, how has it been not just integrating them into the team and the play style, but the culture of the team?
Yeah, I think it's actually gone really, really well. We do a lot of in the preseason when we're not on the court together, 6 days a week. We do study halls twice a week with our freshmen, and I let the assistants kind of take over that because that's another avenue for them to really interact and spend time and get to know them. We also have academic groups that are just based off of the assistants, so they don't have anything to do with me. So that's another avenue just off the court where they're spending a lot of time together, kind of getting to know one another. So that's kind of how we started it initially. And now that the season has started, we kind of have them divided up into positions. So we've got guard group and post group that are also, kind of tagged to an assistant. So if it's individual film or individual skill work, they're getting some more one-on-one time with that group as opposed to always just kind of doing all those things with me.
Coach, last question. You mentioned that you kind of had a sour taste in your mouth after last season. What do you think is the biggest takeaway or the biggest lesson for this team from last season that you hope to carry into this season?
I think leadership is a big piece, and I'll certainly take ownership for that too. But I think that being willing to hold yourselves accountable for how you come to practice every day, how you approach every game, and I think that's been a huge piece. Like I said, our senior class has just taken that piece and run with it. And, we can be as talented as we want to be, but if we don't come together as a group and we don't push each other in practice and we don't take every single game seriously, we're not going to get the results that we want and that we maybe even deserve. And so I think that, this senior class has really made an emphasis to lead and to lead on and off the court and make sure that that's coming in a positive way, but also coming in a competitive way.